All right, guys, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. I got the Week 17 picks here for you. There are a lot of inactives that we have to worry about here, but that is typically when 9 to 5 does well. So, if you guys are 9 to 5 members, definitely make sure to check out the updates there that come in, an hour to half an hour before lineup lock, because that is going to be crucial on the slate. We really have to know that news prior to lock. So right now, just based on what we know, I'm going to be looking at Alvin Kamara and Derrick Henry pretty heavily and then filling in where needed. So obviously Alvin Kamara, he's going to regress back from that game that he had last week, but it's another stellar matchup going against the Panthers. They're a bottom five defense. To me, they're just a plug and play. And then you got Derrick Henry going against Houston, who has been the defense we've been targeting really this whole year. Obviously, he went off against Houston the last time that they played. 43 DK points. To me, those two are just plug and plays, and then you're just trying to figure out the rest of your build from there. And the great thing about Week 14 pricing is that there's going to be some great values out there that really help and make it easy for you guys to fit in the rest of those players. And just real quick, I'm going to go over the values, and then I'm going to really get into it. So Dalvin Cook has been ruled out, and if he is out, Alexander Madison can be a great play. But if he is also out, then Amir Abdullah almost just becomes a lock to me this week, especially in that matchup. He's a guy that has looked good really the last 2 years, really his whole career when he's gotten the opportunity. The thing with Amir Abdullah, it's never been talent, it's been staying healthy. Okay, so if Amir Abdullah gets that full workload, like I think he would if Madison is out as well, then he's just way too cheap at that price point. Great matchup, bottom five matchup there. It's going to be a great play. But Jonathan Taylor here going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, another matchup that we've been really targeting the whole year. I expect him to get right around 20 DK points like he has really since their bye week there in week 12. So he's a guy that had almost 15 DK points against the Jaguars in week 1. He's looked really good throughout the whole season, and he continues to get better on film. So Jonathan Taylor at that price point, I don't mind. You can easily make him work. Going lower, Myles Gaskin, kind of the same thing. I don't expect him to get 5 targets again, but he easily could. That 82 yards, that's not going to happen. 2 touchdowns in the passing, and that's not going to happen again. But we have seen him consistently be over double-digit DK points, and he's finally priced up enough. People have finally gone on to the 9 to 5 kind of cheat here of playing the Miami Dolphins running backs there because they've always been a little bit underpriced. I'm not sure we can go back to the well with Myles Gaskin at that price point, although it is appealing to me. Then after that, if Philip Lindsay is out again, then Melvin Gordon does become an interesting play. He looked great on the ground yesterday or last week against the Chargers. He just didn't get any targets. That was the only game this year where he should have seen targets that he did not see targets. Yes, I know he didn't get any targets in these games here, but Philip Lindsay was back in those games. And, if Philip Lindsay is out again, I expect him to get a little bit of passing usage. That was pretty strange for him to not get a single target. And then from there are going to be some other plays that we do have to worry about injury-wise and seeing kind of what's going on. We already have James Robinson ruled out. Dare Ogunbowale did look good, so I'd be fine with playing Dare Ogunbowale this week. He should get some targets as well. He should get used in the passing game a little bit. 4.5 is not enough of a price point for him. He pretty much went straight into that James Robinson role, so the usage is going to be there for him again. If we get right around 20 opportunities for my guy at this price point, that is very appealing to me. But once again, I'd rather just play Amir Abdullah than I would rather play Dare Ogunbowale. Amir Abdullah's in a better matchup, and he's a little bit cheaper. So let me get into the quarterback plays here. There's some good ones. So what you guys want to do on the top end, that's going to be really up to you. Whichever route you want to go, you can. You could play Tom Brady. You can play Justin Herbert against the Chiefs. You can play Ryan Tannehill going against Houston. He went off against them. Kirk Cousins even against Detroit. But for me, I think just because I really want to force these guys into my builds, I'm going to try to find the value there. Chad Henne is going to be starting this week going against the Chargers defense, who hasn't been that great. We know that the Chiefs have a good system. If he gets 18 DK points at 5.1, that's something that I see happening. And, I just don't mind him at that price point. And then we go a little bit lower, like John Wolford at 4.9. You can really fit the rest of the studs in there. All he has to do is hit 15 DK points going against the Cardinals, who have been, they struggled a little bit defensively. I could easily see that happening as well. So that probably be the approach that I go with on the slate, is to kind of just punt at quarterback. And hopefully that doesn't hurt you. But if you guys want to go with Justin Herbert instead, you could easily do that. I know he struggled recently. He cut the locks and he's been struggling since then. But this is a play where I really just don't mind it. Going to receivers here now. Davonte Adams, the plug and play. I'm not sure at 9.2 against the Bears, but he has been kind of a plug and play on every slate. So if you want to go back to the well with him, you can. Calvin Ridley at 8.5 going against the Bucks, who have been a team that we've been targeting really a ton recently. Really sucks that Stafford got injured in that game because he was probably going to be, a good play there. It made the Buccaneers defense pretty much a lock once Stafford got injured. If we would have known that, then that game would have been completely different. But Calvin Ridley here going against the Bucks, they've been a bad defense pretty much the last 6 weeks, minus that last week against the Lions where they just didn't have their starting quarterback. I really don't mind Calvin Ridley there, and we just saw it recently. He went for 35 DK points. So, if you want to pay up for Calvin Ridley, you can easily do that. We got away on a bunch of this news. So AJ Brown questionable, Keenan Allen questionable, Julio Jones questionable, Brandon Ayuk is out, Jarvis Landry COVID-19 list, Cooper Kupp COVID-19 list. So real quick, I'll pull up Van Jefferson because I think he's going to be a great value for us this week with the Cooper Kupp news. I expect him to get a bunch more snaps, probably around 60% of the snaps. He's a guy where they have tried to get him targets when he is on the field. We saw that like in week 1, week 2, and then in week 13. So it wouldn't shock me if he's a guy that ends up with like 6 catches for 60 yards, gets 12 DK points, and at 3K. That's very appealing to me, and he's a guy that I'm going to put in there for now, and we can go back to it if we need to, adjust that later if we need to. So with Ayuk out, we kind of know that we do want to force in one of the San Francisco 49ers receivers. It's just trying to figure out which one it'll be. To me, I think it's going to be Richie James Jr., but it could be, I'll just pull him up. It could be Kendrick Bourne. I don't know. I think Richie James Jr. is much more of a Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk type player than Kendrick Bourne. So for me, you could easily fit in Richie James there at that price point as well and feel good about it as well. So, we had some really great values already on the slate at receiver, which really makes me want to force in those stellar running back plays. And you could easily afford to pay up for a quarterback then if you're going to go that route. Say you want to put in Lamar Jackson, you could easily do that. Maybe you're a little bit worried about that. You could go Deshaun Watson as well if you want to do that instead. Let's see. 35 DK points against the Titans last time. I'm not sure, but we'll put Deshaun Watson in there for now. But yeah, I mean, you guys can really make anything that you want work there receiver-wise right now, and that's kind of the beauty of this slate. Tight end-wise, I actually really do like Robert Tonyan going against the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears have been struggling against tight ends this whole year. That's been their weakness defensively. He had 17 DK points against them the first time out. 5K, yeah, it's a little bit priced up, but that's something that I really don't think we have to worry about that. Evan Ingram, he is currently questionable. If he is out, that actually does help someone like Sterling Shepard out as well. He is questionable, but I kind of expect him to play. If all those guys sit, maybe Dante Pettis becomes a factor because I don't think Golden Tate's going to play again. And then Dante Pettis at 3K would become an intriguing play as a receiver number 2 in that offense. There's a lot of values here, and that's why that Sunday live stream is going to be clutch for pretty much everyone out there. The plug and play of Travis Kelce comes to an end today too, or this week too, because obviously probably not going to play that much with them resting their starters. We'll say it is going to be the last week of Zach Ertz, and I know he's not on this slate, but we'll talk about that for that Monday night slate. Last week of him in an Eagles uniform, I think he's going to get used a decent amount there for them, especially with Dallas Goedert looking like he's out as well. Yeah, tight end wise, we're going to have to, work on figuring it out, kind of what we want to go with right there. But for now, I'll put in Robert Tonyan there. I'm going to punt that defense for now like I always do, and we can go back to that if that's something that we need to do. I'll put Detroit in there for now, whatever. Flex wise, I'll put in Amir Abdullah, hoping that those two, Alexander Madison is out. Obviously, we already know that Dalvin Cook is out. Let's see. I do want to fit Robert Woods, so let's see. Robert Woods. Take out Tonyan. Then we'll go with Noah Fant. I like Noah Fant. That's fine. Targets continue to be there for Noah Fant. So that's what's going to be looking at for week 17. Obviously, this is going to change a lot. This is going to be like NBA DFS slate, and that's why I like it. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, subscribe. Do appreciate that. If you guys want, you can check out the 9 to 5 page. Probably won't want to get an NFL DFS membership this late in the game, but it is for a month. We will be covering it up until the Super Bowl, so still not too late to check that out as well. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, let's keep cashing.